Alright, so here I have my modified DX6i with the FRSky DIY mod done to it. I was going to show you finally what I finished doing. So on the front of it, you can see up here I've drilled 2 holes, and you've got the bind button and the LED next to it there on that circuit board that you get with it, pushed up behind there. And I drilled another hole just here to allow the screen display data cable to go inside. So that was the front modification I've done. The screen is just held on, as you can see here, with just some double-sided sticky tape, and it sits there quite nicely. And then on the top I've drilled a hole here and put a switch in for the power. But I have to connect the power up here first to get it to work, which actually comes out the side there. And the reason I've left it a little untidy with this connector is because the JST connector is actually quite sturdy and won't accidentally come apart. So as we go around onto the back, we'll have a look at the back side, and you can see I've got a little bit of Velcro here to keep the battery attached to the back, and another bit of Velcro here to keep the signal for the FRSky just attached when I'm not using it. And at the top you can see I've actually removed my handle for my DX6i, and I made this hole here a little bigger and put the FRSky aerial through, and out the other handle I actually put the signal aerial that comes through to this mono 3.5mm jack plug into this right angle bit here, and that allows me just to connect it up straight away, which turns on obviously the DX6i ppm just by pushing it in, and there it is beeping up, and we can see it light up with the switch here in the off position. And then all I have to do is connect up this battery and flick that switch to on, and it all illuminates. So here we go, just quickly connected the battery up. There's the signal coming through still, and I'll just flick it on, and there we have the LED and the FRSky screen with its readouts working quite happily. And again, the button's still quite easy to press. If I hold it in for 4 seconds, it puts it into that range test mode. There's the beeping, and there's the range test mode of that LED flashing green there whilst it's in range test mode. To take it out of range test mode, press it for 1 to 4 seconds and we get the red LED back. And to power it down, switch it off, pull the plug out the back, put it back in place, and there it is all switched off. It's that easy. So what I'll do now is I'm going to open up the back and we'll have a look at the wiring inside. So here we have the 2 halves of the DX6i, and you can see I've got a few disconnected bits from the front and the back. Before you disconnect anything, make sure you take a picture so you can remember what it all looks like. So we'll start with the modification with the signal. The signal lead coming off the mono 3.5mm jack. The cable I used was just some Ethernet cable, some Cat5 cable, which I pulled apart and used one of the twisted pairs, wired it in the correct way, making sure that I believe your signal is on the middle pin and the outer pin is the ground. And you can see there's 2 wires coming in here. You've got the brown and the white strand, and you can see the white strand here going into the black wire here in the FRSky, which is the ground. Now you can also see it's taped in here with another connection of the ground of the battery. So you've got 3 wires connected inside this tape here, and you can see the battery connection going out there. Then you can see the actual signal itself on the brown wire, because that's just the colour of the wires that measure it, linking here to the yellow wire that goes back into the FRSky. So you can see the black and the yellow of the FRSky, and then you can see the red wire on the FRSky, which then goes up to the power switch, which is actually on the far side, just there underneath it. You can just see the solder joint, which is open. And on that same switch, we can see that the middle point has actually got the battery power going to it, to the JST, and this upper point here isn't used, but it's just insulated off, so nothing can touch it or short to it. So we've covered those three leads coming out of the FRSky here for the power, and we've also covered the signal and where the signal comes from up here to feed into the old DHT DIY unit. Now you can see the aerial point, which I've just looped underneath the circuit board here, and then you can see it going to that point on the external where the aerial is around the back. So you've got all that stuff there, all wired up, and the only other thing left over is two more things, I apologise. You've got the signal cable here, which is fitted, that goes across, and I've just tie wrapped it to this corner of the original transmitter, and there it is popping out the back. There are the two holes there and there that I've drilled for that circuit board button, and if we try and find the lead for that, you can see it here coming off, going off over here. It's just lying here with some black tape on the back of it. There it is. And to tidy things up, that's why I can't move this too much. I've just tie wrapped it here to keep it out of the way of the gimbals, and that just simply pushes into those holes there, and some tape keeps it down to stop it from pushing back in too much. I didn't want to make that permanent onto there because obviously you have to pull it out sometimes to open up the transmitter. So you can see where all the wires are connected from the power into the switch that powers everything, including the display and the transmitter module, and you can see where we've got this 3-wire ground connection going in and where the signal goes in, and how easy it is really just to wire those up. So I hope that's of help.